position. All right, so good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is for you. So today I decided to go on and talk about ginger. So a lot of people complain about arthritic pain, or you have low back pain. A lot of people have low back injuries or issues. Knees are a big thing. If you have very sore knees or arthritic knees, hands, your joints in your hands can be sore. So people are coming to me and asking me what they can do for that. And there are some things that we can do naturally. So instead of always trying to put medication in and relieve with the NSAIDs, the Motrins, the ibuprofens, Tylenols, those type of things, because as we know, with anything that we put in our mouth or any medications that we take, there's always a side effect. There's always something that's going to happen from taking that medication or the risk of it. So natural is the best that we can do if there is something that we can do to relieve some of the pain. With any type of pain in your body or injuries or anything like that, we always want to ask why. Why is that going on? Because you want to find the root cause of stuff, and you want to give the body the right environment to try to heal itself. I mean, the body is an amazing, amazing creation, and we do have the ability to heal a lot of the things ourselves, but we have to give the internal structure the right environment to do so, which is very difficult in today's society with the refined sugar, and there's lots of allergies to wheat and dairy and just all the processed stuff that we eat. Our wheat is hybridized, like all the chemicals that are in the air that we inhale every day. I mean, it's truly hard to live a perfectly clean life, but there's lots of things that we can do to help that and to give our body the right environment basically to work and heal itself. And I will be doing more series on different things, and it's called Sustain Me, and it goes into sunshine and air and nutrition and exercise and all these things. So I will teach the sustain process and go through each stage of that in a series coming up. But I thought I would piece little things together that can help you right now. The Sustain Me is going to be the things that you need to do to keep the environment of your body healthy and available for healing. So that I will go through on another time. But I wanted to hit up on a few things on this particular because I wanted to be able to give you some relief initially off the bat. So we're just going to talk about simple, I think somebody was trying to get in. Okay. Simple ginger. You wouldn't think that this would work for a lot of things, but it does. When you think of ginger, you might think, oh yeah, they use that for nausea. So in the oncology world, we would always tell people, ginger helps settle the stomach, and it does. And so what you can do and a lot of your tablets that you take, if you look at the ingredients for nausea, they come in compressed, they're just compressed ginger, and that's what they use to help settle the stomach. So if you had nausea and you wanted to internally take ginger, you could do 1 teaspoon of grated ginger and then a cup of boiling water over it, and you make a tea. And then that will help settle any kind of nausea or upset stomach that you have. Another thing that you can use ginger for too is if you have heartburn. Heartburn basically is because you have low hydrochloric acid in your stomach. The stomach is the only area of your body that should be acidic. Everything else should be alkaline. And so the stomach needs to be acidic because it needs to break up your protein. That's where all your protein is digested, is in your stomach. So that needs to be high. And if your hydrochloric acid is low, a lot of people have reflux and the burning, and they get an upset, they have a stomach issue. And what we could do to increase your hydrochloric acid is, again, you can take some ginger, like a nice warm ginger tea will also help raise your hydrochloric acid. And another tip for that too, and we're so conditioned to do this, is not to drink with your meals. And I know my husband, I told him that, and he's like, well, I got to drink it down. I got to swallow it down. I'm like, well, no, you don't. And if you're fully hydrated throughout the day, like we should be, drinking small amounts of water throughout the whole day, you won't be so thirsty. You'll be able to eat your meal without drinking anything with it. And the reason for that being is that you're actually diluting the hydrochloric acid. And if you think about it, it makes sense. So you're diluting that, and then that's going to lower the ability for you to digest and break up that protein. So those are just some tips, and I'll go further into that more when I take a dive down the guts and we look at all those things. But that's just some internal things and uses that you can use for ginger. So ginger also is known as a puller. So it pulls things out, or we could say it draws things out. And what it draws out is it draws out inflammation. So ginger is great at pulling things out of the joints. We always, like, how you can remember, how do I use ginger? You go ginger for joints. Okay, so ginger, and you think joints. When we look at other poultices down the road and we look at potato is a tissue healer. So you have a tissue sprain or a tissue injury, you can use the potato. Well, we do poultices with cayenne pepper to stimulate any neuropathy. If you have neuropathy, or if you've had a stroke and you have some limited use and numbness, that will help wake anything up. And cayenne pepper can also be taken orally, and that will light up that hydrochloric acid, because that will set anything on fire. Like we all know, if you've ever had cayenne pepper, that wakes everything up. So again, that makes sense. A lot of this is common sense. And I will preference all of this, that this is all educational purposes. In no way am I saying that this is going to cure your joint thing, your joint pain. It can help relieve it. Trial and basic, it's always you have to be willing. This is up to you. I'm going to give you the information and education, and then you decide what you want to do with it. So this is not like medical advice or anything like that. I'm just giving you some education. So that's just my little disclaimer at the front. But what you're always looking for is the body's response. We need to become listeners of our own body. And it works the same way with, nutrition and diet and weight loss. Not everything works for everybody. You have to listen to and pay attention to what works for you. Some people might do really well with intermittent fasting. Some people might say, I get really sick and I need to eat more. Is one way right or wrong? No, it's what's going to work best for you. Some people do really well on low carb diets, and some people need to eat a little bit more carbs. Some people like meat, some people like plant. There's no right or wrong way to do anything. It's what's going to work for you. So anytime you use any of these poultices or any natural remedies, you have to try it, and then you have to see the body's response to it. If you're in pain from doing it, then you stop doing it. And I'll explain that when I go into the poultice. So ginger is a puller for inflammation, and the most areas that we would use these type of poultices on would be the back. So low back pain. My husband is always a skeptic of everything, but he's like a massive inflammation ball. Like I am going to try all these things on him because he is just a hot mess. So, and he doesn't drink any water. I could go on. He is going to be like my guinea pig for everything. But he has really bad low back pain. Now, the first thing with him, he needs to get aligned, because I know he's out of place. So it's not going to help if you need an adjustment, or if you have bulging discs that maybe need to, that's possibly with the castor oil thing, but with the ginger and the inflammation, it's going to help relieve the pain. But if you have a structural thing, again, that's why we always say, why? Why are you having issues? So keep that in mind. So lower back. So anyway, he had lower back issues, and he always puts a heating pad every night. He lays with a heating pad on his back. Well, heat is great. And the reason being is, like, when you have a joint issue and you're inflamed, your muscles tend to get agitated, and they are inflamed as well, and they tense up around that area. So when you apply heat, what does it do? It relaxes the muscles and you feel some relief. But heat over time can actually make that joint inflammation worse. So people don't know that. They use heating pads all the time, but it's never going to get better, because you're not pulling the inflammation out. And that's what we're going to do with the ginger, is we're actually going to pull the inflammation out. So when I made a ginger poultice for him and I put it on his back and wrapped him with ACE wrap, within like 15 minutes or 10 minutes, he was like, huh. But this is getting hot. And I'm like, is it? Like, I'm like, it should, you know what I mean? And he said, it feels like an 8 out of 10 of a heating pad. It felt like a heating pad on him. So he had so much inflammation in his back that ginger was pulling it out. And so what it does, pulls it out of that joint and it puts it to the skin. And that's why you feel that heat sensation. So now you're also getting the pulling from the joints and the inflammation's being pulled out, but you're also getting the heat that's going to relax and comfort the muscles. So you're kind of getting two things at once. It is not going to burn your skin. It feels hot, but it's not actually burning your skin. So don't worry about that. And tolerate it the best you can. If it's super hot for you and you can't tolerate it and you've had it on for hours, take it off, and try it again later, because it's still working. If you get it on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, it's still doing something and you're going to get some relief. And then you can go back later and you can try it again. So the back is an area you can see it work really, really well with. And then another common area are knees. A lot of people have very sore knees. And so what you want to do is you're going to put the poultice on the knee. And then we're going to show you how to do that. And then again, you can wrap with an ACE wrap and you can leave that on. How long you're going to leave these on for is about 2 hours is minimum. You can leave it on for 2 hours, and I'll remind you at the end. So knees is a good place. And then hands, wrists, and you could do ankles too. So some people, I had a woman that was here Saturday for our party, and she has very knees and arthritic hands. So I'm going to have her do the ginger poultices, but you can put it over your hand and then you can wrap your hand with an ACE wrap and do it that way as well. If it's comfortable for you, if you put it on like at 6 at night and in 2 hours, it's still comfortable and then you're going to go to bed, you can leave it on during the night. As long as you're getting relief and it's not hurting you, you can certainly leave it on. The warning with it though is because some people get so much relief. So there was a woman who put it on her knee and she did it in the morning and she's like, wow, within half hour, she could move her knee. So she's like, this is great. So she kept it on for 5 hours. She took a shower. She came back. She put it on again. Then she put a new one on again at night. She kept it on just all night, refreshing it and putting new ones on. She did it for so many hours. And then in the morning, she woke up and she took it off. And then her knee was red and had a couple of blisters on it. And she's like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? She's, well, you just overdid it. You did too much ginger. You left it on too long. So it's the good thing with herbs when you use herbs is that they're never going to harm you. Okay. So it's a natural process. They're for service for the body. It states that biblically, they're in service for us. So the difference between an herb and a medication, when you take a medication, has a job and it's going to go in there and it's going to do that job. No matter what else is in its way, it's going to take everything out with it. An example would be chemotherapy. You get chemotherapy, it goes after the cancer cells, but then it also kills every other good cell around it as well. So with herbs and natural remedies, it goes in and it's up your body. It'll go up to your liver. Do you need any of this? And your liver say, nope, I'm good. Okay, then it won't deliver it. It just disperses. So it's not going to be harmful to you. So that's a good thing to remember. You're not going to hurt yourself by applying ginger. You're not going to do any harm. If you do it too long, your skin's going to get red. You may blister. I'm talking hours and hours of refreshing it, which most people won't do. Then you just don't do a compress for about a week, let it heal. And then you could do a potato poultice, which I'll show you in another episode, to actually heal the tissue and draw out that and do some healing there. So don't go longer than you need to. So we'll go there. So hands, wrists, ankles, those are some of the places that you can use for ginger. All right. So let's get into how to do this. So ginger poultice, like I said, knees, hands, back, for arthritis. What you're going to need is just fresh ginger, a cheesecloth or sheets. What I suggest that you do, I have cheesecloth here, but you can use, I cut it in a 10 by 10 sheet. This is actually a perfect size to work with most poultices. But you can also take an old sheet that you have that you're going to throw out that gets really thin and cut that in pieces and cut them in 10 by 10 squares. And I just suggest keeping them in a poultice box. Just keep a little plastic container and keep those in there. because it's just, you can, put your grater in there, you can put some plastic wrap in there, whatever, but it's nice. This is a perfect size to work with. And I have a bunch of them here, but I only need one. So I'm going to put these to the side. The next thing you're gonna need is plastic wrap. Okay, so just good old plastic wrap is what you're gonna need, and you're going to just pull it out. And I make it long enough. So you're gonna do it however long you want. I love this type because it's got I always hate when you try to pull it off. This has got a little zipper. You just zip it across and pull it off. I'm all about simplicity. And then I suggest that you fold it up so you get a square like this. And this just makes it more pliable. It's easier to work with. So you're going to have a square of that, which I already have here. And then you're going to need your grater and then an ace wrap or something to wrap the poultice in. So you're going to put the plastic down first. And this is to avoid any leaking of anything on your clothes or your bed or wherever you are, because there will be juice that comes out of any of these items that we're using. So out of the ginger, it will get wet. And so you want to put this on the back of it so that you can protect your skin. You can protect your clothes, basically. So you're going to lay the plastic wrap down first. And then I'm going to put the sheet over the top of it. And the reason we make them into poultices is because if you put the ginger just directly on, can you imagine it falling out? That's why we're going to fold this. You're going to see how I fold it over. And the reason we do that is so the ginger doesn't fall out. If I just put the ginger on here and then try to quick slap it on, we all know what's going to happen. If you're by yourself, there's no way. You're going to have ginger everywhere, and that's not going to be a good thing. So we want to put that down for the plastic. And then just get a grater. This is a really nice one. It is a fine grater, and you can just put it right directly over the compress here. So organic if you can. If you can't, just good old regular ginger. And I'm just going to finely grate it. And you're going to put it all right in the center of the poultice, not the whole area. And you'll see why, because we're going to fold this over. And it smells so fresh when you do this. And what I do with the leftover, when I do this, the leftover is I will put it in a cup and then I will make tea and then I'll drink the ginger tea. And it's so refreshing and calming and warming. If you're ever super cold, like in winter, like we're summer right now, but in the winter time, if you just have that deep down chill where you're super cold, if you had some ginger tea, it really helps warm you up from the inside. So that's another internal use for ginger. So you want to get about, I don't know, a teaspoon, is about a tablespoon here. And it depends on the area that you're going to do. And then you can just spread it around. I have some ones that are flying over, but I'm going to fold this and I'm just spreading it around. Make sure you get it off the back. I'll kind of pick it up. As you can see, it's in the center. And now it's on my table in the center of the cloth here. And you can make this, like if you had somebody you wanted to give this to, I'm probably going to go use this on my husband. So you can fold it up, put it in a baggie, and you can keep it for up to 24 hours. So it's fresh ginger, so you want to use it right away. I wouldn't go more than 24 hours without using it, with using it. So then all you're going to do is we just go fold it up. So it says like north to south, east to west, and you just make a little square like that. So I'm going to square, and then you're going to flip it over because this is the part that's going to go against the skin. You can already see that there's ginger juice that's starting to come, and that's what we want. We want that on the body part. And then all you're going to do is put it on somebody's lower back. But let's say I had my hand, I could make a smaller one. If I wanted to put it on my hand, I would wrap this around like this, just wrap it in there. And you can take old sock and cut a sock tube, like just have the tubing of the sock and put the sock over, or you could do a mitten. You could do a mitten or a glove to put over this, or just a general ace wrap and wrap it around. Very, very simple. And then, like I said, if you, and I could already see there's a little juice on my hand already right here. And then that will start getting hot pretty quickly. So if I wanted to reuse this, or I'm going to take it home, I'm just going to fold it over like this. And then I'm just going to take it home, and then I'm going to use it. I'm not going to waste it. So I'm going to use it on my husband on his back. So again, a 10 by 10 size is perfect for the poultice size. And then you want to leave it on a minimum of 2 hours. If after 2 hours, you don't want it on anymore, it pretty much did all the pulling that it's going to do. But a lot of people keep it on because it's still providing heat and it's still providing comfort. And if at that point, then you can leave it on overnight if you like to. And then, like I said, it depends. If it's getting really hot on you, again, response, body's response. So listen to your body. If your body's telling you that is too hot, I can't handle it, then pull it off and then try it again tomorrow. And you will find relief in your joints. You'll start to feel better. And then if the next day you're still having inflammation again, you can do it again. You could do this every night, until you get further relief. So you just, again, have to see how your body plays it off. And then as the inflammation goes away, it might not get as hot anymore because it's already pulled a lot of the inflammation out. I put it on my shoulder. I thought I had a shoulder, but I think I have more of a tissue. I have more of a tissue injury. So when I put it on, I really didn't feel much heat. So to me, that's telling me that I really didn't have a lot of inflammation at that time. So I was going to I'll try a different poultice on my shoulder. And that's a different herb that we will use in another time. So that is the simple basics of the ginger poultice. You guys try it. If you try it, post it in the group and let us know. Again, low back, knees, ankles, arthritis in your hands, whatever you want. When you're sitting at home at night, just put the compress on, wrap it up, and just sit and relax, and then watch it do its work. With that also, so you can use this compress to help pull inflammation, but you also have to remember there's a few things that you can do to help inflammation general overall. And it's anything with health and fitness. So it's the same thing, going back to what Lisa and I teach all the time too, is that you really want to decrease your sugar intake. So sugar is going to cause inflammation. There's foods that cause inflammation if you have allergies to different types of foods. Hydration, we really want to make sure that you're hydrated to give your body the best environment. So making sure you at least drink 8 ounces of water a day throughout the day. But like I said earlier, try not to drink during your meals to give your body or stomach ability to keep the hydrochloric acid high. So just sip through that water throughout the day to really get that in. I'm going to just come up here so I can look if there's questions. Swelling from my leg, try it. Absolutely try it. You can try it. If there's inflammation in there, the swelling of the leg could also just be an edema thing. So if you have swelling in your legs, elevate it would be good. Rebounding to get some on a little trampoline, that'll be another talk too. But hydration. So when we have swelling in our legs or edema, we think that I don't want to drink any more water, or I'm not going to have any salt because I'm blowing up because of the salt. And the truth about that is that your cell needs to have the water inside the cell. We need to get water into the cell. And a lot of times we're not able to do that because people aren't drinking, they're not getting salt. And when I mean salt, I'm not talking table salt. So table salt is not good. I mean, we should throw all our table salt away and switch to more of and most people have done this already, a Himalayan or a Celtic salt, because the seawater has 92 minerals in it. And your Celtic salt has about 82 minerals, and then your Himalayan has about 72 minerals. So you could see, and the table salt that you use is only pulling the bad ones. It's pulling the sodium bicarbonate, it's pulling the sodium chloride off, and that's what's making your table salt. So that's the bad salt. So when doctors tell you with high blood pressure and all that to stop salt, they're absolutely correct. Don't use that type of salt. It's okay to use the Himalayan and Celtic salt, because what that's going to do is help pull the minerals, help pull the water into the cell. You have potassium in your cell, and you have sodium outside. And if you're not hydrated in there and you're losing that potassium inside, and you have all this sodium on the outside, what happens is it's called osmosis. So from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, it's going to pull through the cell. Sodium gets pushed into the cell, and then you have high blood pressure and you have swelling. So even if you have a high blood pressure, drinking more water will help. And making sure you have a little bit of mineral salt will help as well. And you can use that salt to salt your food. And you can also, a tip in what I do is I take a little bit, just one little crystal of Himalayan salt, and I put on my tongue before I drink a glass of water. And sometimes I'll just crunch it. And then immediately your mouth saliva is trying to absorbing those minerals. And then I drink my water down. Some people put salt in their water, and I recommend just doing the kernel because you want pure water. Like we want to drink as much pure water as we can. So if you just do the little salt real quick and then you drink your water, then it will be able to get into your cell. If you just make that one small change, that will help many things. High blood pressure, it'll help swelling, it'll help inflammation, it helps lubricate your joints. So we're talking about joint inflammation and pain. Water is needed for your joints to move. Everything needs water, and water helps support all your upper body weight. Like all your upper body weight is held in your back by water. So when you don't have a tight core, and if you're lifting and if you're not drinking water, you're putting a lot of more strain on your back. I think people really don't understand the importance of water, and they think, oh yeah, drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. But there's so many reasons why we need to drink it. And by making that one simple little change, and that's what I encourage all of you, is to just start with that one simple thing. I'm just going to drink more water today. And it's going to make a huge difference. And you'll feel it. You'll feel it in your energy. You'll feel it in if you have chronic fatigue, like all these things. And it's just part of the sustained process of what I'm going to discuss in future talks is you need to give the body the environment to heal itself, and your environment to help your joints and to help yourself feel better. You need to do something, and you need to do a few things to help and encourage that. And one thing is just simply drinking water. So I hope you at least take that away. And I hope that you guys try the ginger poultice because it really does work. I've seen it work with my husband. I've seen it work on other people, and you think it wouldn't, but give it a try. And if you try, like I said, again, please comment below. I'm going to put this recording I'm going to put in the group, in the FTS group. And so for only you guys are going to be able to watch that. You're welcome, Lucy. Yes, I'm glad you guys found it informative. And like I said, I'm going to be doing series of these, and maybe I'll do there's so much. We can do a charcoal poultice for poison. Everybody should have charcoal poultice in their house. If you get stung by a bee, if you get stung by a tick, because I'm in Wisconsin, by a tick, it will help pull out the poison. Charcoal is actually the only thing that actually neutralizes poisons in your body. And I worked in the ER for many years, and that's why we give charcoal to them, because it will soak up that poison and it's not going to harm you. But you can make a poultice like that too, and have a non-messy way to make charcoal poultices, and you keep them in your fridge or your freezer, and when you need them, you rip it open and you put it on. So that might be, I think castor oil will be my next one, because castor oil breaks up lumps, bumps, bone spurs. The potato will get rid of ingrown toenails, it pulls out splinters, and it helps tissue inflammation. Instead of ginger for joints, potato is for tissue. So tons of stuff that is coming that we're going to teach. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for participating.